Hello guys, this is Jerry speaking. Welcome to LJPCBM Reacts, episode number 618. It's today reacting to Purple Roads Podcast, episode number 65. Carrying hours of joy from the Bugaloos. I'm reacting to this beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm Carrie Stinson, and my journey through life has been quite an adventure. For over 20 years, I played Barney the Dinosaur on tour and 7 seasons of the hugely popular TV show Barney and Friends. Now my journey is to bring together friends and guests from all over the entertainment world for inspiring and at times amusing behind-the-scenes conversation. I'm Carrie Stinson, and this is Purple Roads.
Cab?
Welcome to Purple Roads. My name is Carrie Stinson, and oh my goodness, this is going to be so much fun. We are with Caroline Ellis from the Bugaloos, which was one of my absolute favorite shows, Sid and Marty Krofft, and she is in Spain. And Caroline, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. I'm all worried about you. I just hope you've got your thermals on.
Wow.
Yeah, we do. The snow's starting to melt, so we're doing okay. How is it in Spain?
Well, we're in winter here, but winter here is not quite the same as what you're having. Today it's been about 18 degrees, the weekend 19, 20. So the temperature here in the winter can vary anything from 9 or 10 degrees to 23 or 24 degrees. The climate here, I must just tell you briefly, is very similar to Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Of course, when we were working and living in Los Angeles, you sort of get accustomed to the climate. And then afterwards, when going back to the UK, I always hated the English climate. I always hated it. And I
Exactly.
always thought as a child, well, I'm going to marry somebody who's from a warmer country, so I don't have to put up with this horrible cold weather. I've always felt the cold. That never happened, actually. The marrying to somebody from a warmer climate. But of course, I decided much later on in life that moving to Spain and the climate here. Obviously, the climate is different in different parts of Spain, the same as the USA. But the climate here is so like California.
Wow.
The temperature. When I look at the temperatures in LA and the temperatures here, very often they're very similar, summer or winter. In general, their winters are a bit warmer, but I think at the moment their temperatures have dropped down because of that cold freeze that you're having down from Canada. Even their temperatures have dropped down to about 19 or 20 as well. Anyway, I'm sure you didn't come on here to talk about the weather.
No, it's fascinating. And, this is obviously not typical Texas weather. I mean, we haven't had this kind of snow and ice over 10 years.
Terrible. Well, that's a change, I presume. So
you were in the UK when you auditioned, well, actually, I guess when you started your acting career.
yeah, when I started my acting career, as I went to theatrical school when I was 7 years of age.
Wow.
Started young, but I went really for the dancing, for the ballet. I wanted to be a ballet dancer.
Wow.
And the convent that I had been at, they stopped doing the classes. So I had got through 1 or 2, very young little exams with honours, and then my mother decided perhaps, I'd be better off going to a school that did more serious dancing classes.
Yeah.
So off I went to this theatrical school, which was not that far away from where we lived. And being a theatrical school, of course, they would be casting also many London productions and from abroad for children, young actors, and you could stay at the school until school leaving age and then stay on for another 2 years as what they used to call a student and carry on with your studies, with your exams, drama, dancing and everything. And that was me, and I was very lucky. I mean, as a child, I did 1 or 2 modelling jobs and things like that. But in England at that time, you couldn't appear on the stage until you were 12 years of age. That was the law.
Exactly.
For only for so many weeks of the year, etc. They were very, very strict on regulations for obvious reasons. And then when I was 11, but I was going to be 12 that year, I auditioned for a show at the London Palladium.
Wow.
As what they called the Ada Foster Babes. Ada Foster was theatrical school. They did them every year.
Okay.
And I'm happy to say I was chosen as one of the babes, and that's really where it all started. So I appeared in the theatre for many years. I did a few television commercials, but from the Palladium, that was for 6 months. Then I went into the Sound of Music.
Wow.
And played Louisa. We all know the Sound of Music. And that was very good professionally for experience and for doing harmonies on stage with other people. So that was it. Really sort of progressed from there. And then obviously, well, the commercials continued. I continued doing modelling. So I appeared in various theatrical productions in London. I was very lucky in that way. And then, of course, along came the Crofts looking for a cast for the casting of the Bugaloos. Well, I thought, this is all in the newspapers, it's all a load of rubbish, they know who they're going to have, they've already decided what's the point of going along, but it was in all the newspaper, big splash, you've probably heard about this before. I wasn't going to go along, and my agent hadn't really sort of done anything because they hadn't contacted agents for people to go along to audition. It was just sort of like open auditions for anybody, anywhere could go along. And of course they were getting thousands of people going along. And my friend said to me, "Oh, come on, Karen, let's go along just for a laugh." I said, "Oh God, yeah, but we're going to have to queue up. We haven't got an appointment.
Well.
It'll be a waste of time. They already know who they're going to have.
Right.
Just a publicity stunt." So anyway, she dragged me along, and that was at EMI in London.
Wow.
And of course, when we arrived, there were loads of people outside queuing up, and I said, "Oh, I'm going home again. This is ridiculous. It's just crazy." She said, "No, come along." Anyway, we gave our name because they'd come out and take your name and details and everything. So we stayed in there, masses of people, and this had been going on every day for about a week.
Because there are other shows, right? HR Pump and stuff, and Sid and Marty Krofft was a big deal at this time.
Yes,
Yeah.
The show.
HR Puff and stuff had been very successful in England as well.
Okay.
But I suppose because HR Puff and stuff at that time appealed to much younger people. I mean, I was, how old was I? I was 19 then. So
Wow.
I wasn't really watching all the children's programs. I was watching a few because many of my student colleagues or friends or whatever were in them, in TV series, this, that, and the other.
Wow.
And but it wasn't something that I was really, deeply into. So yes, I'd heard of Puff and Star.
Yeah.
You didn't know of Sid and Marty Krofft.
Well, I don't know that I ever watched.
Oh, okay, so you just knew it was a big.
By that time, I
But you
did
just
not.
knew that this audition was a big deal.
It certainly was. Anyway, eventually we went in at about 12 at a time in a semicircle. Sid and Marty Krofft were both there, and we were asked to one by one, without any music or anything, just to sing a song. And then if they were interested, they'd ask one or two to stay behind. Well, obviously they asked me to stay behind. So then I had to wait. They came out and took my name and details, and then later on I had to go back in, and they said, "Will you come back tomorrow?" And it went on basically for a whole week. Meanwhile, they were getting the numbers down, and then near the end, they were asking us to go down in the evening to take us out to dinner and to chat, to get to know us. I think to get to know our characters, that we weren't going to, be up to no good the whole time. It's too much of a investment. I was actually working up the road at that time, doing a fashion show in the Dorchester Hotel. I think one of them was staying in the Dorchester Hotel, which was quite funny. So I was doing a fashion show that week in the Dorchester, for young fashion and everything. So I was dashing from that, then back to the audition and the crofts, and then going back home quickly, changing, then going out to dinner. It was a hectic time, but obviously I got it in the end.
Yeah. Had you ever done auditions with singing?
With who?
Singing the song, or was that new for
Oh,
you?
yeah, for the sound of music.
Right.
And I had to
As
sing
you heard,
that, and
as you heard Siren in the background. Continue on.
then for other musicals I've done one or two other musicals. So yes, that's the first thing they ask you to do when you audition for a musical on the stage, is go on the stage one by one. Okay, can you sing a song? Thank you, we'll let you know. But it's that's how it is. It's tough, really, and it's sometimes heartbreaking because you may be asked to go back 2 or 3 times for like a theatre show or whatever, and then you don't hear anything more, and you think, is that it? Nobody tells you. Not always. Sometimes they do say, they contact your agent or whatever and say, thank you very much, but we won't be needing you. But in general, you never hear anything. So when you don't hear anything, you haven't got it.
Right.
When you do hear something, then it's usually to go back for another audition, for a recall, to sing another song, or to read the script, whatever. And it's hard, and many people couldn't take it because it's tough. It can really tear you up inside if you go for lots of auditions and then you never get anything, which happened to a lot of my colleagues, obviously. Happened to me. I wouldn't get everything I went for.
Right.
And it hurts. It's tough because you work hard, you build up your energy, you're rehearsing, as part of your experience and a part of your studies as well, if you like, when you're still at school. But it's tough. It's not always fun. I have to say. I mean, I've got a younger brother, Christopher, and he was younger than me by a few years, and he went to the same drama school.
Wow.
He did a lot of film work. He was actually in a film with Marlon Brando.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay.
So when I came back from the States, he was filming with Michael Winner, the director. I was invited up there by Michael Winner. Met Marlon Brando. Christopher was filming as a child actor, and anyway, he did this film and everything, but he only lasted a couple of years after. He couldn't take it. He hated it in the end. All the auditioning, the heartbreak, the disappointments you get are enormous. But if you're lucky enough to get a part in something, well, then obviously your career hopefully will get off the ground, and little by little you start building up your experience and working with different people. Then I found in the theatre, especially in the theatre, one or two of the directors or producers and the film and television, they get to know your work. And if they like your work, then they ask you, they keep you in mind for something in the future. So I got a phone call one day. I think, this was after the Bugaloos, and I'd worked in the theatre with a film director. Sadly, he's passed away now. He was a very, very big film director, Val Guest. He worked a lot in Hollywood, in the UK, and everything. But anyway, I did a theatre production, and he liked my work and whatever. Then he asked me to appear in a film, and then after that, I was just at home. I can't remember whether I had anything lined up or not. But anyway, I wasn't working, and I got a call from my agent that said, "You've got to go to Poland tomorrow." I said, "To Poland?" This was the business. You get a phone call the next day or that day sending you off somewhere. And they said, "Yeah, you're doing the Sherlock Holmes in Poland." I said, "Oh my God." So anyway, I had to get everything ready. You always have your passport ready just in case it happens. So off I went to Poland, and I did, which was fascinating. I did a Sherlock Holmes in Poland, and it was because Val Guest had asked for me to play this part in the Sherlock Holmes production. So that's business. But my younger brother, he couldn't take it. He hated it. He hated all the disappointments, and he gave up the business and went off around the world instead. So.
Wow.
It's a difficult business, and
It is.
you learn that no doesn't. Sometimes it's just because you don't fit the part. It's not a personal thing.
No.
It's not exactly what they're looking for.
Exactly. And you can be the best actress in the world, or the worst actress in the world.
Right.
So,
And you can get a part, especially back then. You know, you had to be a bit of a dolly bird. I did a TV in England with a friend of mine, Joanne, and
Wow.
she said at that time, we just had to be dolly birds. If you were a dolly bird, then the chances were you were going to get some work, whether it was Benny Hill or Doctor Who or whatever. You had to be a bit of a dolly bird. And of
Now,
course,
explain that to us, Dolly Bird.
a dolly bird is a young, attractive female, perhaps shall we say rather nice looking, attractive. But people couldn't see, casting directors very often at that time anyway, couldn't see beyond that. They couldn't see you being able to play a character part or whatever. And so if you were going for a part, I won't mention her name because she was very well known. And I remember they were casting for a film. I was up for it, and colleagues of mine, and this particular actress was up for it. And very often you don't know what they're looking for until you go for the audition. Then they give you a script and you read the information 5 minutes beforehand, and then you're in to read the script. And sometimes they give you a little bit of background on it. Sometimes they don't say anything. So anyway, this actress, she went in and they said, no, thank you, you're not right. And off she went. So she had a very good, she had a very good agent, put it that way. So what she did was, she then just turned up. She went and changed her clothes. She went very sexy looking.
Oh, geez.
Like a sexy schoolgirl. She completely changed her look. She went in for the audition looking like that, and she got the part.
Wow.
Just because they couldn't see beyond what was in front. Not
Again, viewer discretion is advised, ladies and gentlemen. Continue on.
always, not always. But once people get to know your work and that you are able to do this and that and the other, then they'll ask for you back, even if it's something completely different. And I'm happy to say that that did happen to me on 1 or 2 occasions. I'm very happy to say. But at the end of the day, I was still a dolly bird.
Man.
So, I'm so curious. You get the Bugaloos, and they're explaining this show. What were your thoughts when you found out, what this was about?
Well, it was mind blowing. I mean, let's face it. It
Wow.
was mind blowing. And they showed us when we were near the end of the auditioning, and then once we got the part, they showed us the sketches of the Tranquility Forest and the characters with wings and whatever. They showed us that.
Wow.
The first thing at the auditioning, they
Right.
didn't have that, but later on, when they were getting it down to a few of us, then they showed us a bit more detail, and that helped give us a better idea. I mean, I didn't know that I was supposed to look like a fairy when I went for the audition.
Exactly.
I didn't suppose the boys did either. But anyway, when we started seeing, they had like a catalogue, a book of all these different cartoons and sketches and drawings. I mean, absolutely fantastic, really, really fantastic. Then you start to get a picture of what they're going to do. But the real surprise was when we'd gone out to Los Angeles and we walked into the studio and we saw Tranquility Forest for real. You can't imagine that just from a drawing, because there were no photos or anything like that. And it was just magical. It was just wonderful. I mean, talk about a mind-blowing stage set. It was just incredible. It was really, really and we all just went.
Because it was a very big production, right?
Oh yeah, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. We were next door to Lucille Ball.
Wow.
Yeah. So when we weren't being used, okay, she was very, very tough. She was a tough lady, and she wouldn't let anybody in her what do you call it, studio. Yeah. So when she was working, when she was rehearsing, she was up on her high chair, and everybody else was in a lower chair. You know, she was the boss. I never spoke with her, but apparently, yeah, very professional. Well, you can imagine her. I mean, her shows were incredible. They were fantastic, lasted for decades.
Wow.
And so we used to sneak in there and just stand quietly watching what was going on until somebody came and tapped us on the shoulder and said, "Hey, you're wanted back in your studio." So I flew back again, you know, to carry on. But yeah, Tranquility Forest, the setting was just magical. It was unbelievable. Really, really lovely. So yeah, great fun. Great fun.
Well, I can't. It hasn't left my head since I knew that we were going to get to do this, singing the song, you know, the theme song. The Bugaloos, they're in everywhere, flying high. Yeah, it's a song that just sticks with you.
Yeah. Well, that the opening song, wasn't it, with the credits, and then we all flew up and showed our face in front of you all. It's amazing because on my Facebook page, I'm on Facebook, and okay, I have friends, fans, if you like, from the UK, but the majority from America. I mean, when you think about it, that's 50 years ago.
Right.
Wow.
And they all remember it, and they remember so much detail. It's incredible. They remember things that I can't remember.
Man.
And of course now with internet and everything, and you know, it's just amazing. And one of the songs we released the record for a friend, and on the B side was The Senses of Our World, which was a solo song. I love that.
Wow.
So do. But when I looked on YouTube, it's had about 138,000 viewings or something. And you think, Christ almighty, excuse me, you think, goodness me, wow, that's absolutely amazing.
Wow.
No, it is, it's magical. And so many people write to me and say how much it meant to them, because they were not happy as children, but the show brought them away from all that, and you know, just brightened up their lives a bit every Saturday morning.
Yeah, it just brings back such good memories, and I think it's in your life. I was telling several of my friends about this interview, and my best friend, who I've known since before high school, I said, I'm going to have Caroline Ellis from the Bugaloos, and he goes, the Bugaloos. I mean, I didn't have to say anything. He did the whole song perfectly. And
it's incredible, isn't it? It's absolutely mind-blowing. But it's lovely, absolutely lovely, and I'm really proud to have been part of it. It's just a shame that we didn't do more.
Right.
It's not we did want to, but circumstances didn't let it happen, you know. So that's life. So you move on to the next thing. But I'm still in contact with, especially Little John and Big John on Facebook. Wayne sort of became a bit of a recluse, but his sister joins in on our chats. And occasionally we do reunions. We've had one or two before Zoom came along and this sort of thing. We did a teleconference. This is going back many years, by the guy who set it up, Bill Ung, who did our website. Now, of course, the website is still there.
Right.
But of course, now with Facebook, people can contact you directly on Facebook if they want to, and look at all the past information. But it's lovely, absolutely lovely, that people have such happy and good memories of it.
Did you have any idea when you were doing it that all these years later, it was going to affect people in such a positive way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but when you listen to the words and the words of the music, of the songs and everything, it's all very, very positive. And the show was a positive show. It was meant to be for children, but we know that a lot of adults as well tuning in. We know that the children's parents, and they just thought, "Oh my goodness, you know, what have they been doing here?" So yes, it's lovely. It really is lovely. It is. I have a friend who did a blog of another friend of mine, and he lives in Florida.
Wow.
And he remembers the Bugaloos, but he had contacted me about something else that I had appeared in. Did I have any photographs? Can I send information, some questions, etc., etc. Anyway, we started talking, and he said, "Oh, you were doing the Bugaloos?" I said, "Yeah," because he's American.
Right.
He said he wasn't born back then, but he still knew about it. He still knew it, of course, on YouTube and DVDs and all and everything. So anyway, would you believe? He asked me. He said he wanted to buy one of the DVDs of the shows, but he said, you know, they're asking such ridiculous prices on eBay and everything and whatever. So I had a spare one. So I sent him one, and it arrived yesterday to Florida. I said, well, for goodness sake, don't go and watch all the episodes all in one go, or you'll go crazy.
Man.
No. But you know, even now, people still want to watch it, still want to listen to the music or see the program. But that's the magic of technology, isn't it? Now things are timeless, and that show certainly is timeless. You know, you can show it to your children, they can show it to their children, and it still has that magic aura about it.
It really is. It really is timeless, and it's so funny with kids entertainment. You guys figured out something way before all these shows, which was using songs in the show. I think that was one of the reasons it was so big. Is the music? I think the kids love the music. I love singing. I don't like the songs.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what other shows were on at that time where you had the Monkeys.
And I was wondering, was the Monkeys before?
Yeah.
So the Bugaloos kind of came from the Monkeys a little bit?
Yeah, the Monkeys were before. In fact,
Wow.
They were, when we went to Los Angeles, they were hugely popular then already.
Okay.
And what's his name? The singer, the main singer.
Oh, goodness, I know.
What's his name? Oh God, it was crazy. Anyway, he came
It was
up.
Davy Jones.
Davy Jones, thank you.
Yeah, the late Davy Jones. Rest in peace to him on the Monkeys. Continue on.
Jones came up because we were living in North Hollywood, so he came up to see us. He knew Big John as well because Big John had always been involved with the London music, crowd and everything. So yeah, no, they were already big when we hadn't even started filming the Bugaloos, I don't think, or we were filming at the time. So yeah, but of course they were a pop group doing a mad series, if you like. Whereas we were a series with music. That was the difference, I think. We weren't a pop group. We were, well, I think they were put together as well, weren't they? They were manufactured.
Yes, they were.
As we were. So anyway, Davey was great. He was giving us lots of advice.
Wow.
And he had been with, not my agent in England, but with another agent in London. So, you know,
Wow.
he knew everybody else sort of thing. Sort of friends of his were friends of mine, etc., etc. No, he was great. He was lovely. You know, it's just so sad he's not with us anymore.
Yeah, I
anyway.
agree.
So, yeah, but apart from that, it was a lot of cartoons, wasn't it, at that time?
It was.
You know, which was great, which was lovely.
But there's something about the live action, I think, that people really respond to.
Yes, yeah. And of course, the Bugaloos was total fantasy.
Right.
It was like the monkeys, for instance, were live. They were in the street, they were in the countryside, they were here, all the rest of it. But the Bugaloos were in another planet. They were just somewhere else.
Wow.
They could have been in Pluto,
Right.
Wow.
and it was just like mind blowing. And here we were in another world with this mad, crazy, bad person, up to no good, up to mischief, and these four characters trying to do, make the world a better place for everybody. So yeah, magic. No, they don't do programs like that anymore.
Well, they don't, and I wish they did. I think the fantasy of what people loved. And it's funny you said the bad person because that was Martha Ray. You had
Exactly.
Martha Ray and Billy Barty on that show, which
Yeah.
were pretty well known at the time.
Yes, they were. They were in America. Martha Ray was quite well known in England because she'd done all the Bob Hope films and other things. A very funny lady, very nice lady. Billy Barty, I don't think he was really. If you'd said the name in England at that time, not many people would have known it. But of course, he was well known. He had appeared in goodness knows how many productions all the time. Another lovely person, a really lovely person, and he was a great drummer. He was a really good drummer.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he and John would disappear, and you'd have to go and find them. Hey John, Billy, where are you? You know what I mean? Yeah, he was a really good drummer. So John will tell you all about that. That's a big book. But a lovely person. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
So Martha Ray, that was such a kind of crazy character that because there's a fine line, right? When you're playing an evil person on kids show, you can't go too evil.
No, you
So
frighten
it's
them off.
a tricky role to play.
Yeah. Well, she made it a comedy part, and of course, she was like a comedian as well.
Right.
So, and with that mad outfit, it was just great. It was just great. Maybe if the very, very youngsters, maybe the very, very little ones did get a bit frightened at first. I don't know. That I don't know. But you couldn't, she was just so insane. You couldn't be frightened of her.
Right.
At the end of the day, she just wanted to sing. Whatever. She just wanted to be a big star as well, in a way. So, she was lovely. She was great. Yeah, she did that character very, very well by bringing the humor into it. If she had played it as an evil person, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, and I think she was one of my favorites as well as everyone on that show. I think for that reason, you kind of knew she was the bad person, but it didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
Exactly. She made it very, very light and entertaining. She was super. Yeah.
So, what was it like for you when they told you you were a character that was going to be kind of a fairy, as you say, and be flying?
What was it like?
Yeah, what was it like to know that you had to play a character that flew?
Well, I don't think it was. I don't know. I was just so thrilled. I suppose when you're at drama school or whatever, especially at that time. Now it's quite, it happens a lot. English actors go to America. America goes to. But at that time, no, it was very rare. Apart from you had to have visas, work permits, and all the rest of it, which you probably still do now. But in general, you couldn't go to America and just try and look for a job or whatever. You had to have the contract to go over and all the rest of it. But it
Exactly.
was like everybody actor's dream. Oh, to go to Hollywood. We had a very Gene Simmons. Do you remember Gene Simmons? She was a big star in Hollywood back in the 1950s, 60s. And anyway, she went to the same school, and she was over there. But of course, they had cast, I think, cast for an English actress. And
Wow.
she got the part, and she was flown to Hollywood. She stayed in Hollywood for many years, doing many films with all the big names. And anyway, so to be told that we were being flown to Hollywood, I'm going to Hollywood. Yes, you'll be living in Beverly Hills, and you know, you just think, oh my goodness, is this happening to me? It can't
Wow.
be real, can it? It was just like a dream come true. And I remember the night that we'd been having dinner in London, and they confirmed with me that I had been chosen to play Joy. And I drove home, and I got home, I had a green Mini, and I drove home. I thought, what am I going to do with my car? I drove home, and my mother, because I was living at home then, and my mother was waiting. Well, she'd gone to bed. She was in bed, and I went in, and I knocked on her bedroom door, and I opened the door, and she'd often fall asleep with the light on. But anyway, are you awake? And she said, yeah, how did it go? And I opened the door. She just looked at my face, and she said, you got it, didn't you? You're going to I said, but you can't tell anyone. You mustn't. We have to keep it a secret for a few days. They wanted to announce it to the press once they had finally decided on everyone. So anyway, yeah. I mean, going to Hollywood when you're just a young actress, it's just like a dream come true. Now it happens more often. You know, people do go out to Hollywood more often. I think it's easier for you to be cast and go out to different parts of the world to work. So mind you, now in the UK, I mean, I don't live in the UK, but the UK, of course, they've done Brexit, haven't they?
Yeah.
I don't know whether that'll make it difficult. It's making it more difficult for musicians and theatre productions to go touring around Europe and everywhere, because there's too much paperwork, it's too complicated. So a lot of them now are having to cancel their tours. A lot of the musicians, Elton John, I think, has cancelled a tour because he can't take his team with him. He would have to use Europe. Anyway, I'm sure you don't want to hear
If you watch this remix, Elton John, continue on.
It's not fascinating.
But yeah, so no, it was a dream come true for me. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. So yeah, lovely.
What was it like when they announced it in the press? Like, that's kind of a big deal. Trying to get the audience to understand back then.
Well,
This
yeah,
was a big deal.
it was a big deal, a very big deal, because it's not that it just appeared in the newspapers. It had been building up to it. For auditioning, the producers are coming over to London to cast for this TV series. It had been in the newspapers building up. So the newspapers were waiting to know who was going to be flown to Hollywood. So of course, when they announced it, well, we all had to be there for the photographs and the normal sort of setup of photographs and everything, which we did loads of, absolutely loads of, as you can imagine. And of course, then it was all in the newspapers. Okay, I had appeared on television in England a few times before that, so my face was not well known, but it was familiar, if you know what I mean. So, weren't you in such and such? It was like that. But of course, when you appear in the newspaper, the amount of times that you did then of course it was just like, I was going to Hollywood, yeah. And my friends were wonderful, you know, lots of pats on the back and celebration up at the pub, you know. Bye, Caroline.
Oh, that's great. How long were you in LA filming the show?
Sorry?
How long were you in LA filming the show?
We were there for quite a few months.
Wow.
I can't remember when we were flown out. It was at least 6 months, at least, if not more. But of course, our contract was for 6 months renewable, because they had to renew okay, you can go back home for Christmas and then we'll have you back out again after. So we said, okay, and off we went, but we never went back again. They never asked us to go back again because Columbia had financial problems. We were going to do the film, and sadly, very, very sadly, that never happened. Not because they didn't want to do the film, but because Columbia had financial problems, money problems. They eventually went bankrupt and closed down, Columbia Pictures.
Yeah.
So that was the end of that. So it never happened, which is sad in a way. But anyway, things happen in life for a reason, and we move on. But yeah.
Did you do public appearances?
In America, we did a tour, which was unbelievable because wherever we went, we were mobbed basically. Okay, it was all very well planned, and we appeared in different cities, flying here, flying there, big limousines, chauffeur driven. We even had. I can't remember where it was. We had been somewhere. We had to get a plane then. At the end of the day, onto the next location, the next city, and we were booked on this flight, but we were late. So we had this great big, these big black Cadillac driving us everywhere, and this Cadillac had to drive us to the airport, but we were going to miss the plane. So there was phone calls being made. We were in the car driving along. Suddenly the police sirens appear, and we're thinking, oh my God, now they're going to stop us. No, we were having a police escort. The plane was on the tarmac, ready to take us. They had apologized to all the passengers, saying, we're waiting for some very important clients to come on the plane. I mean, you just think, wow, this is fine, all for us.
Still.
You just couldn't believe it. So yeah, we had some wonderful experiences. We really, really did. Anyway, the plane waited for us. We got on the plane and we made our next appearance the next day, wherever it was. I can't remember now.
What were those appearances? Were you singing or were you just meeting fans?
Sometimes we were singing on TV programs in different states. Sometimes it was just appearances in different locations, autograph signing or photographs or whatever. But we appeared on Bandstand and
Wow.
one or two other programs. We were also in New York for quite a few days, and that was quite hectic, especially when you had bomb scares and you're on the 105th floor, that sort of thing. So we were doing all sorts of different appearances. We did the Macy's parade, of course, in New York, which was lovely. It was cold, freezing.
Yeah, I got to do it 2 times myself, and yes.
Oh yeah, it's great fun though, isn't it? Great fun.
The energy of New York is amazing.
It is. It's not personally. It's not a place I would want to live. But everything there is so fast, and I presume it still is. So London was always fast, but New York made London look slow.
Wow.
The pace of it was absolutely mind blowing, absolutely incredible. Yeah, we went to obviously one or two venues as well, restaurants, the famous restaurants. And no, we had a great time, and appearances as well, obviously in New York. So yeah, we did radio programs, TV programs, signings, press conferences, you name it. We did it all. We did it all.
And did you ever think, I almost didn't go to that audition? Did you ever?
All the time. When I think about it, that changed my life. It was such a wonderful experience. If it hadn't been for my friend, I just felt so guilty because my friend didn't get it. She wasn't asked to go back, but she was in the same business even at that age, so we knew how it worked, sort of thing. And she was a very good friend of mine. So yeah, absolutely. If she hadn't dragged me along, she really had to persuade me to go along. And so, yeah, you know, life, you never know. Life is full of surprises. And
Yeah.
I just, every day, I thank God that I've been so lucky and happy in my life. And I still am now. I live in a wonderful place. I've got my horses here with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm very lucky. I've been lucky all my life, and I, you know, thank you for looking after me. Please God, may it continue. You know, good health. Obviously, at the moment now, the world is having a very, very difficult time.
Wow.
And please God, may you and I and as many, you know, everybody else not come down with this this terrible disease. Let's just get it stopped as quickly as possible. So
Wow.
have you had the vaccine yet?
I have not. I have
Me
not.
Yeah.
Me neither.
I do, however, back in January of 2021, which is good, both 2 times. Continue on.
I think my turn. I think will come up in April. I think they're doing it. I'm on the next stage.
Okay.
On the
I'm
next
signed
stage.
up. I'm signed up for it, but we haven't hit that
But
stage.
you can sign up for it.
Yes, you can sign up for
Oh.
it. You can
Right.
register.
Wow. I did both, however, which is huge because, number one, it was a big time for January 2021 in FM Health System, which is my mom's work. And 2, this is a big thing for 2 of the shots that I have. And after the second vaccine, I was so tired that night because there was so much I wanted to get ready for the next day. Continue on.
Register for it, and then they put you in a group. And
Right. Okay. No, I think here we've got a national health system, so you automatically they will just contact you when your time is up and say, okay, you have to go here or come in and we'll give you the vacuna. If you turn it down, well, you turn it
Wow.
down. So yeah.
so, what did you do after the Bugaloos?
What did I do after the Bugaloos? Well, we're back in London and waiting to see if we were going to go back, and nothing happened. And then I spoke with my agent, and we said, well, we may as well go along for 1 or 2 auditions or interviews and see what happens. So as soon as we said that, I went along to audition or to interview for a TV series, another children's TV series, but completely different. It was adventure, more serious, with spies and
Wow.
army and helicopters and horses and
Wow.
goodness knows what else. So I went along to audition for that. That was a TV series, and I got the part of that. And that, of course, then just said, well, I'll accept it. We've been trying to contact to see if we were going to go back for the crofts, for the production, Bugaloo. But, you know, just wait, nothing. But how long do you wait? You know,
Right.
Then April, we'd gone back into, well, the end of December, okay, for Christmas, but how long do you wait? You know, you want to be working, you want to keep busy and active. So anyway, the contract with the crofts hadn't been renewed at that time. So I just said, okay, there's nothing to tie me legally to the crofts. So I accepted that and started filming that, I think, in June or May or June or something like that. That was riding horses, which I've always loved, and whatever. And so, yeah, then after that, I got a theatre production, and then another theatre. I did lots and lots of theatre, which, to be honest, I've always loved the theatre. Probably, I just love hearing that feedback from the audience. With television, you don't have, well, you can have a live audience with something. If it's a comedy, you have a live audience very often in the studio when you're filming a TV comedy, which is great. But when you're doing a TV series, especially like for Martha Ray playing comedy part, there is no feedback, which makes it more difficult. But when you're on the stage, if you get a laugh with a line, it sort of helps you, it sort of gives you the incentive to I don't know, it's just magical to hear. Or the people clapping at the end of production. It's just magical. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you've had that experience. You've been in the Macy's parade, and obviously you're in the business.
Yeah, I toured with Barney for 5 years.
Oh, right.
Wow.
Yeah, all around the world. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
It is. It's wonderful, isn't it? Hearing that people are enjoying themselves and whatever. For me, that's magic. Absolutely magic. And another magical thing which I always love when you're in a musical is before the curtain goes up at the very beginning, is hearing the orchestra
Wow.
tune up, getting prepared. I love all that mixture of different instruments, all preparing, tuning up their instruments, ready for the big show. That always sends hairs on the back of my neck going up. I love it. It's just magic. It's just absolute magic. Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But yeah.
I'm sorry. No, please go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Big John still lives in America. He lives in Los Angeles, I think. John is in England, in the UK, and I speak with him occasionally. And he's okay. He carried on in the music business, and now I think he does more just recordings and production. He doesn't perform anymore. He used to tour Europe a lot. And Wayne, he's a bit of a recluse. I don't know what Wayne is up to. So he sort of hid away. When we went back, he did a couple of TV series that I know of. Maybe he did more. But he then went off, I think, to Italy for a while, and sort of disappeared off the scene for a while. And in this business, if you disappear off the scene for a while, you sort of get forgotten. You know, people forget you, and then they find somebody else, and you're sort of, there's always somebody else out there better than you are, as I always say. So yeah, they're all in. As I say, John's in America. Wayne and Little John are in the UK, in England, and I'm in Spain. And it's all international now, isn't it?
I love it. What are some of your favorite memories from those times on the Bugaloos?
From the Bugaloos, I think, well, the memory that stands out is seeing the set. Is what I mentioned before. I was just mind blown when I walked on the set and saw the magic of it. It was just incredible. That always stays on my mind. Another thing was the director, Tony Charmley, who sadly passed away recently.
Wow.
Like all directors, he wants to get on and carry on with the job. But I always remember him jumping up and down, because I think he was a dancer as well, or done many, many musicals. He used to say, come on, time is money.
Wow.
That always sticks with me. So there's so many memories. I mean, so many memories, and wonderful memories. And
Wow.
Martha Ray. I remember that we went up to her house in the canyon for dinner one night in her house. She was a charming lady. She was, apart from being very funny and entertaining, she was a lovely lady. And we went to her house for dinner one night. We saw her photographs on her wall. For her special photographs, perhaps receiving an award or with somebody well known. I can't remember what we ate, but that didn't matter.
Yeah.
That stays in my mind. Oh, so many memories. I remember going to Palm Springs and being robbed on my birthday.
Wow.
I can remember as well, and I've got one or two photographs of the fans. When we were doing the tour and coming up and us signing our autographs for their faces. And I'm happy to say I've got one or two photographs of that. So that brings back those happy times, making all these people so happy to see you and to enjoy what you've been doing and everything. So that's very, very special. Very, very special. Unfortunately, the fan mail we didn't deal with, and we had thousands and thousands. Well, you can imagine letters and But that was looked after by a department. Obviously, didn't have the time or whatever to do all that. I think at one time we went to the place where they were dealing with it, and there was just masses of mail on the table from all these people writing to us. Because at the end of the program, it says, "Don't forget to write," or something like that.
Right.
Of course, they all did. Now,
Yeah.
millions of them. But of course, a lot of them never got any reply, which is apparently, this is what I heard after, which was a shame. But anyway, I'm sure that happened on other programs as well. But now with technology, isn't it? Facebook, everything. It's just wonderful. It's just really lovely. It just makes everybody much more accessible. And I first of all, with my Facebook page, I did one page where I didn't, not to be personally in contact with them.
Sure.
And I thought that was such a shame. All these people are saying, well, so my Facebook page, they can write to me, they can send me messages. They do. It's become like a full-time job almost.
Man.
But it's lovely, and they tell you things that you had forgotten from way back then, or they tell you things that at that time they were going through a bad time at home for personal problems, and that we had managed to, change their lives basically for the better. Now that is really special. That is really, really heartwarming, and lovely to hear. And I've heard many, many stories like that from the fans. So yeah, lovely memories.
Yeah.
Well, I can't thank you enough. You have brought so many smiles to my life, and have come back again today. It's just been such a pleasure to get to talk to you, Caroline.
Well, it was my pleasure. It brings back the memories, doesn't it? And everything. I mean, you as well obviously have many wonderful memories, and sometimes you forget them until you speak to somebody, and then they start coming back again. So has anybody interviewed you yet?
I've done a few of them. That's kind of where this started. Is I got asked to do a few podcasts.
Yeah.
Right.
And I started realizing I knew there was a lot of people that had stories like mine, and I wanted to talk to them, and that's kind of where this show started from.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah. Fantastic.
And I never thought I'd get to be able to sing the Bugaloos theme song. The joy! I'm so happy.
You remember the words. So many people.
Yeah.
I've been singing them around the house here. My fiance and the kids are like, "Oh my goodness, what is this show?" I'm like, "You have to know the Bugaloos."
Yeah, that's lovely. You remember them.
Yeah.
So many people do remember the words better than I do. I've forgotten. I was trying to sing Senses of the World the other day, and after about the first 2 lines, I thought, I can't remember the rest of it. Terrible.
But you could never forget the theme song.
No,
Exactly.
and the words, you just think, one minute, this line, whatever. No, I love that song. I always did love that song. It's very, very, very special. And the words to all the songs, the words are very special. For a friend, and when I think about the happy birthday, even, everybody knows the songs of the happy birthday, or a lot of people remember the song of happy birthday.
Yeah.
You can imagine on my birthday that gets sent to me a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll bet.
So yeah, but anyway, it's
Thank
been
you
great
so-
speaking to you. I hope you thaw out very soon and don't have any more problems with electricity. So yeah, and good luck with the future for you as well.
Thank you, and same to you.
Thank you. Take care, won't you?
You too. Thank you so much for watching Purple Road. This has been so much fun. And remember, keep your eyes, ears, and your heart open, and you'll find the Purple Road. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
So that was Purple Roads episode number 65. What do I think about this episode? It was amazing. So far this episode went to be a success. Anyways, guys, that was episode of LJPCBM React, episode number 618. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for the next one, which is to be Purple Roads, episode number 66. 10 stones, not only for Dark Green Duck, but as he mentioned, but also for my childhood favorite show, Buzz Lightyear Starman as a kid, but that's just me. Till next time, so Joseph, goodbye, peace out, baby. Get what to be at, guys, very soon. Till then, jumps it out. See ya.
Given unto me this life I'll never take for granted, and given all the time I failed to really understand it, I never sought to meet the maker of reality, the one who gave the life that which is always happening, but I tried all the time. I ask, why me? Why was I the one to see things as I do under the moonlight and the sun? Perception is the question, and the giver holds the key.